everyone, I'm excited to welcome you here today. This is a weekly special, and we are having a World Cup player, a Nigerian international, Desire Oparanozie. Hi, Desire.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, Desire. Thank you so much for coming on. And Desire, I'm really excited. For everyone who is tuning in, Desire has played in the Women Under 20 World Cup. She's played
You,
in
on,
2011.
you forgot I was in the under 17 as well. 2008, I
I
was in the
know,
under
can you
17.
imagine?
Yeah,
She's also
the
played in
men.
the African
Yeah,
Women Cup of Nations, and she's won all the time she's taken part. That's in 210, 214, where she was the Golden Boot winner, and 216 and 218. My God, Desire, that's incredible. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for being here again. And Desire, when we talk about winners in African women's football, you're just the right person to speak to inspire so many other young girls in Africa and around the world, not just in Africa, guys. And I'm really excited for people to learn from you today. You've won everything there is, but Desire, you're still going. How did you start playing football?
Well, the same response I always give. Football was, I guess I was born with it. I just found myself playing football, and ever since, yeah, from I was when I was as young as 10, I started playing, running on the streets with boys and all of that, without clothes, without shoes on. So it was, I mean, it's been a passion for me. It was something I think I was born with. So
Okay, obviously, us in Africa, it's such a challenge to establish yourself as a young girl in a male-dominated sport. Did you find any big challenges getting into the sport as a young girl?
yeah, I mean, there's always a challenge. There is always stereotype where they will tell you it's not a female sport. They will tell you you're looking so masculine and all of that. So, it comes with a whole lot of stereotypes and all of that. But if you know where you're headed, what you want to achieve, if you're sure this is what you want to do, you don't allow all those negativities bring you down and all of that. You just have to keep pushing until you get to where you're headed.
Yeah, I can imagine it's not so easy. You're among the few Africans who have managed to sustain and establish yourself in Europe as a pro player. How did you manage to overcome all these challenges and get your first deal to play in Europe?
Well, like I said, if you're sure of where you're headed, there has always been challenges, there has always been trials, and me playing in Europe, it has its own disadvantages and all of that. At first, you're migrating to a country where you have no family, you have no friends there. You don't even understand the language, the culture, you don't understand the food and everything, even the weather. So I mean, too many things to discourage you and all of
Mm.
that. But like I said, if you know what you want, if you're hungry for success, if you want to succeed, you don't let anything push you down or discourage you and all of that. So I knew what I wanted. I wanted to make name for myself. I
Mm.
wanted to, be great in this line of career. So I kept pushing and I didn't let anything weigh me down. So
Once you got in that transition from the amateur life in Africa going into Europe, I'm a football player myself, but my journey was a little bit different. Being in England, at least I could speak a bit of English, but I can
you
imagine.
you played for QPR at some point, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And Crystal Palace. But I can imagine yourself, it's not the same because you don't know the language. Obviously, the weather bit is it's the same for all of us, but it's not easy when you can't even speak to the people. It becomes quite hard. Was it easy for you to transition from the amateur life into the professional life for yourself?
In terms of the game itself, it was easy because football, I mean, it's universal. You don't even just your movement alone is enough language.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody understand when you make a run, someone understand what you want. But outside the field, it's different entirely. It was very difficult. It's when you're in a team where 90% of the team speaks what you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I mean, sometimes sometimes they will pass instructions. Okay, let's say for example, during game, there's always a pre-match meeting and all of that. The team wants the way they want to play and everything. After they finish the normal meeting with the whole member of the team, I will have to like get my coach and my interpreter in a different session just so I understand what what I need to do on the field at a particular time and all of that. So all those are the challenges I've had to face, and I've also been in a team where I didn't have an interpreter. So I just have to, find my way around it and make sure I do my best to help the team the best possible way I can. So all those things.
Desire, you see, there are so many young girls in Africa who, and boys actually, who are dreaming of playing professional football, but they don't know those little details that you've mentioned right there. Uh, Everybody has to overcome, and I know they are so hungry. But for me, it's nice to hear from you, and you tell them exactly what to expect, because these are the little details that people cannot think about when they are making that transition. So I hope everyone who is listening in, you take note and know that it's not an easy journey, but I think people do make it through. And Desire, yourself, you've played in World Cups, you've played in African Cup of Nations, you've played in underage groups World Cups. I mean, this is what all young girls are dreaming of playing, and some of the women have not even done it. How have you been able to sustain and maintain yourself at this high level?
All What has helped me through this journey and why I've stayed on top of my game all these years, it's I think I will credit it to discipline.
Okay.
Yeah, I've disciplined myself in a way that I made sure it was just football. I didn't want anything to distract me, in as much as I have family to attend to, but did not let I still did not let them, distract me. Relationship wise, I didn't let my personal life interfere in my career life and all of
Mm,
that. So I've been very focused right from
mm,
day one, and I've been very dedicated, very hardworking, and that has really helped me
mm,
to stay at the top of my game. And I mean, to the glory of God, I've been at the top of my game up
mm.
until, from day one up until now. And I, 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 I credit that to hard work and dedication.
But Desire, last year you went in that massive Women's World Cup, sold out
Yeah.
crowds. You are the captain of the Nigerian women's football team. How is it like playing in a World Cup on such a very big stage?
Well, it was amazing. I mean, for lack of a better word, there's no word to really explain and express how I felt, and having to captain the most successful team in Africa, it's a huge honor, and being given that responsibility, I felt really honored, and it was great. I'm gonna live to relish that moment for the rest of my life. It's really an honor, and playing on the big stage, that's the dream of every professional footballer. They
Yeah.
want to play for their country and represent them on the big stage. So, I mean, for me, having that happen for me is a dream come true, and I'm just grateful.
Yeah, it was so massive, and you know the sold out crowds between France and Nigeria. Myself, I was there, so it was such a proud moment for me, and I wasn't even playing. And then you got to the quarterfinals for the first time in a long time. How did that feel, and how did you feel getting off the way you did?
Huh? I felt good. I was proud of the team, you know. I am equally proud being part of the team that made history after 20 years. You know, it's been like 2 decades since we got to that level in the world stage. So, man, I felt proud. The feeling is good. Getting to where we got to, and I hope to the objective was to go past beyond the where we got to, but it happened. We didn't achieve that, but that's still notwithstanding. I was proud with what we achieved, and I was proud of the team.
Now, having achieved everything on the African continent, I want to know, do you think women's football in Africa, there is hope for it to get better?
Of course, there's always for as long as there is tomorrow, there is always room for improvement, and Africa, the truth, I'm not going to lie to you. The truth is, Africa, we're the ones holding ourselves back.
Okay.
Yeah, we're the ones holding ourselves back. We have everything it takes to bring Africa
To the
to the top of the map, to the top of the ladder. You know, we have everything it takes to contend among the rest of the world, you know. But it's it all depends on our leaders.
Yeah.
You know, it all depends on our leaders. So if we do what we should do, you know, if everyone do their bit, what we're supposed to do, we have all the resources, we have the talent, we have the manpower, you know, name it. And if our leaders do what they need to do without having anyone tell them what to, they know what to do, but they just don't want to do it. I don't know why. So I think if they do what they need to do, and you know, have everybody account for themselves and everything, I'm sure Africa have everything it takes to get to the world stage and dominate.
In terms of Africa, what do you think young girls out there in Nigeria, in Uganda, in so many African countries, what do they need to do when they want to become pro players? What do they need to follow in order for them to get to the level that you're at or even better?
Well, it's simple. It's simple. First of all, my advice is, first of all, be sure this is what you need. How will you make sure? How will you make sure? I I am going to like try to advise people to try out some something else, you know, not just focusing on one thing. Try out maybe one, two, or three other things, and explore, find out how good you are in all of those fields, and then you try to observe yourself, monitor yourself. How do you feel when you're doing those things? How do we feel? Does it make me happy? Does it excite me? Does it push me to want to do more, to want to get better? Once you identify all of those things, then you invest your time in it, invest your energy in it, put everything you have, no limitations. Do it with with your heart. You know, do it with your heart. Work hard every day. It's not easy. It's
Yeah.
not easy. You're bound to encounter so many roadblocks. People will discourage you. You might not even have support from anybody and all of that. But just keep pushing, keep pushing. Like if you fall 10 times, stand up 10 times and keep going, keep going. You just never know when the breakthrough is gonna happen. My advice is never quit. Don't quit. For as long as you're sure this is what it is for you, keep pushing, keep doing your best, and believe you me, you're gonna make it.
I also want to know, nowadays, young girls who are like 13, 14, 15, they are hungry, to get on the world stage, because women's football is getting to that level where it's quite exciting for young girls to play professional football. But some of them are dropping their education and trying to focus on the football. I know that can be a tricky situation when you get that deal and you just want to go on. But you've mentioned something there about being diverse and having something else sets you apart. And do you believe that it's important for little girls in Africa and the world as well to still have their education and also take on football, professional football?
I'm glad you mentioned the education part. It's very, very important. Very, very important. I won't advise anyone to choose school over sports. I mean, unfortunately in Africa, I don't know, but I don't know in other parts of Africa, but Nigeria, for example, we don't really have academies. I mean, academies where you have time to combine education and sports at the same time. Unlike in France here,
Yeah.
I mean, you have time to do your school work and still focus on your career and all of that. They allow you time to do what you want to do. So I will advise anyone to focus on both things. Focus on education. Don't give up one for the other. Because I mean, football, sports, it's a time thing. You don't get to do it for the rest of your life, And some of us we don't get so fortunate. Some of us get very, very unlucky on the long run. Maybe on the way you might just you might be injured. You may have an injury that might end your career or something like that. So you need something to fall back on. So that's when you now have to concentrate on what you made of school, of education and all of that. So I'll advise everyone to focus and get their qualifications in school and also pursue their career. Don't settle for one.
Yourself, Desire, you've played football almost all your life. Is there anything else apart from football that you're thinking of doing, or once you retire, or maybe even now that you're interested in?
Well, of course, there is always something after football. Well, I'm focusing on getting into business full time business. So, but if I'm gonna do something that is sports related, it also will be the business aspect of it. Business aspect of sports, but not it won't be on the field. So that's what I'm focusing on. It's gonna be full time business after career.
Is there any advice that you want to give the young girls and boys out there who are dreaming of taking on football as a career?
I mean, it's always the same thing. Stay focused, stay dedicated. Don't be too quick to want to fly. You have to learn to crawl first, then walk, and then you can start running. Just be patient. It will happen, but keep working hard. Keep working hard. Hard work. It does pay. It does pay. It might take time, but just keep working hard and doing your best.
For me, listening to you, I hope so many people who have tuned in have been inspired. Lots of fans right there, you've tuned in. It's been amazing listening to a World Cup player, Desire. And I know you've inspired so many young girls out there. I don't know if you have any last words before we close this conversation, Desire.
I just want to tell every aspiring young athlete to focus on their dreams and not let anyone distract them, and pay no mind to anything. Even when they are praising you, don't let it get into your head, and when they are criticizing you, still don't let it, where learn to take responsibility for how you react to people's actions towards you. Learn to respond to it the way you want to respond. Don't respond to it because you you want to give them the satisfaction, make sure it is what you want, and focus on your dream.
Desire, thank you so much. This has been, yeah, one of the most amazing talks I've had on here, and it's taught so many young girls. I cannot wait to share this message even after this conversation, because I think what you've talked has not only inspired everybody who has tuned in, but even myself. I mean, there is a lot that I've learned from you. So thank you so much for your time. And
My pleasure. It's
yeah.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Hi guys, there you've heard it from the World Cup player. I hope you did enjoy that, because I did enjoy it very much. Desire Oparanozie has won everything there is to win in women's African football. So thank you so much for tuning in, people from Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda. It was nice to have you on the show. This is the Weekend Star Buffet. This was a weekly special though. So thank you for being on. From myself, Jean Sseninde, to you, have a nice week. And this is the Weekend Star Buffet, where you choose your favorite dish. Thank you very much.